The stars above stretched in a silent, endless tapestry. On the edge of the Valen cluster, alien ships patrolled the void with rigid efficiency. They were designed for speed, for dominance, and for control. The beings aboard had never encountered a species like the humans. Intelligence reports had warned of strange anomalies, but none had predicted the scale of what was coming. Commander, Rel of the Terran fleet watched the monitors with a mix of curiosity and unease. The human ships had appeared without warning. They were small compared to the fleet, slow by Terran standards, yet somehow unnervingly precise in their trajectory. Ral's communication officer, a slender figure with shimmering blue skin, leaned forward. "They are not broadcasting standard signals," the officer said. "No hails, no identification, no indication of origin." Ral frowned. "Then they must be a rogue faction. Prepare the interceptors. We cannot allow unregistered vessels to enter our sector." The human ships continued their approach. They were unarmed, seemingly fragile. Yet the Terran fleet had learned not to underestimate even the smallest threats. History was littered with examples of species that looked harmless, but turned deadly. Ral signaled the attack formation. The humans did not respond. They did not retreat. They continued to advance with unwavering resolve. Ral's frustration grew. His fleet fired warning pulses, short bursts of energy that could disable a ship without destroying it. The humans evaded them effortlessly, weaving through the void with maneuvers that defied Terran logic. Inside the bridge of one human ship, Captain Eli watched the approaching fleet with calm determination. Eli was not a hero in the traditional sense. He had no desire for conquest, no taste for glory. He only understood that humanity had always survived against impossible odds, and this moment was no different. "Maintain course," Eli said. "They will see us for what we are soon enough." On the Terran fleet, the response was immediate. Ral ordered a full offensive. Energy beams lanced through space, targeting the human vessels. The beams struck, and the human ships shuddered, but did not break. Every strike was absorbed by a technology the Terran had never seen before. Holes glowed faintly, repairing themselves almost instantly. Ral's astonishment turned to fear. "Report," he barked. "Why are they not damaged?" "They appear to have adaptive shielding," the officer replied. "It is unlike anything cataloged. Their systems adjust to the energy frequency as it is fired." Ral's mind raced. The humans were supposed to be a primitive species. They should have been easily overwhelmed. Instead, they moved with purpose and resilience. He ordered a tactical retreat, but it was too late. The humans had reached the fleet's center. Without hesitation, they launched a wave of non-lethal energy pulses. These pulses were precise, targeting the fleet's engines and control systems. The Terran ships faltered, their formations collapsing as chaos spread. Ral realized that humanity did not fight like others. They did not rely on brute force or overwhelming numbers. They studied, adapted, and exploited weaknesses in ways the Terran could not anticipate. For the first time, Ral felt the vulnerability of his fleet, the fragility of his confidence. In the aftermath, the Terran gathered for a council. Leaders debated strategies, unsure how to confront this new species. The humans, meanwhile, had established a presence near a strategic system. They made no hostile moves, only set up communications and observation posts. The Terran scientists were the first to report it. The humans were not invaders. They were explorers, thinkers, builders. Their technology was advanced, yes, but it was guided by understanding rather than conquest. The realization struck the council with a mixture of awe and dread. Ral summoned a private meeting with his senior officers. "We have underestimated them," he admitted. "They do not play by our rules. Every advantage we thought we had is meaningless against them." One officer, the youngest among them, spoke carefully. "Perhaps we are looking at this the wrong way. They are strong, yes, but they are not reckless. Maybe it is not a question of defeat, but of understanding." Ral considered this. The humans had survived, adapted, and now controlled the narrative of the encounter. It was unsettling. The Terran were used to being the dominant species in every encounter. Now, they faced an intelligence that could think beyond force, beyond fear. Captain Eli observed the Karen fleet from orbit. He knew they were watching, trying to understand, trying to calculate the human intentions. Eli turned to his crew. "We will not provoke them. We will show them that humanity is not a threat unless forced to defend itself. Let them come to terms with that truth." Over the weeks, the humans demonstrated their abilities quietly. They repaired derelict ships, prevented natural disasters on inhabited planets, and shared knowledge openly when requested. The Karen watched, slowly realizing that humanity's strength lay not just in their technology, but in their spirit. Commander Ral experienced a transformation in thinking. What he had once considered weakness, human empathy, curiosity, and cooperation was revealed as their true power. Humans formed bonds with other species, solved conflicts without violence, and inspired loyalty through respect rather than fear. When Ral finally sent a delegation to meet the humans face to face, he expected hostility. Instead, he was met with calm, composed, and deliberate communication. Captain Eli spoke plainly. "We have arrived," Eli said. "Not to conquer, not to enslave. We survive. We learn. And we hope others will do the same." The words carried weight. Ral understood that the humans had rewritten the rules of engagement. They had arrived in a galaxy where power was measured by firepower and intimidation. Yet they thrived through intellect, resilience, and compassion. The first meeting ended with cautious optimism. The Karen realized that to fight humanity was futile. They could not anticipate their tactics. They could not predict their innovations. Humanity's presence alone had altered the strategic landscape. News spread quickly among other species. The humans became a symbol, a benchmark for what it meant to survive and adapt. Stories circulated of humans facing impossible odds, of ships escaping traps with ingenuity, of negotiations that prevented wars before they began. Eli watched the galaxy respond. He did not celebrate victories. There were no battles to boast about. Instead, he marveled at the way humans could influence outcomes without firing a single shot. Their arrival had reshaped the expectations of what an intelligent species could achieve. The Karen fleet eventually integrated into a broader coalition that included human guidance. Technology exchanges, joint exploration missions, and cooperative defense initiatives became the norm. Humanity was not the conqueror, but the catalyst for change. Ral often reflected on the first encounter. What had frightened him most was not the humans' strength, but their clarity of purpose. They did not seek to dominate. They did not crave power for its own sake. They acted with vision and reason, qualities that had allowed them to survive countless adversities on their homeworld. The galaxy learned that strength was not only measured in weapons or numbers. The humans demonstrated that adaptability, resilience, and ingenuity could challenge even the most powerful forces. They had arrived quietly, yet their impact was undeniable. In time, other species sought alliances with humanity. They hoped to learn, to observe, and to grow. The humans welcomed them, but always on terms of mutual respect. The message was clear: survival was not about destruction, but about understanding, innovation, and collaboration. Centuries later, scholars would recount the arrival of humans in the Valen cluster as a turning point. It was not a war, nor a sudden conquest. It was a revelation. The galaxy had met a species that redefined the rules of engagement. Proving that intelligence and spirit could surpass sheer force, Captain Eli's name became synonymous with that era of change. Though he remained modest, he often said that humans were not heroes by choice, only by necessity. They had arrived, they had adapted, and they had survived. The rest of the galaxy had no choice but to follow their lead. As the stars continued to shine over the Valen cluster, humans sailed through the void, curious and unafraid. They explored, they learned, and they endured. Their arrival had changed everything, yet they remained the same: resilient, intelligent, and endlessly adaptable. The galaxy would never be the same again. The story of humanity's arrival became legend, a tale told across star systems. It was a reminder that true strength lay not in domination, but in courage, ingenuity, and the willingness to rise to the impossible challenge. When humans arrived, the universe realized that survival was more than an instinct. It was a choice, and humanity had made it with unwavering determination. And so, the humans continued, not as conquerors, but as exemplars of what a species could achieve when spirit and mind were united. The galaxy learned a lesson it would not forget. Underestimate humans at your peril, for they carried within them the extraordinary power to change the course of history.